So you're running the, thank you. And let's see, could you go ahead and put up the first slide, Dennis? Even though it's 8:59 and not 9 o'clock?
It's now 9 o'clock.
Yes, it is. All right. And thank you very much. I would like to just quickly welcome you. I'm going to do my official welcome when my turn comes up, but I just want to say welcome to everybody for joining us this morning. I'd like to, next slide, please, remind all of you to change your names. If you are a DTM, we've got a few new ones in the room. Stick it on your name. Be proud. And then whatever role you have for this year, club officer role or district officer role, whatever it might be, past district role, take just a few minutes for that. Oh, well, I hope you can't hear that because I don't know how to turn it off.
Not
All right.
hearing yours, but I'm hearing them a lawnmower.
Okay. So next slide, please. This is our agenda for today. We are from 8:30 to 9. We chatted and we did a little bit of that when folks started coming on. 9 o'clock, I'm saying hello to everybody. And then I'm going to have a few words. Linda will be sharing some things, and Jeff. Leesa Thompson is public relations. Winnie is finance. We'll have a break. Then we'll jump into our training sessions. Dennis is leading the training session on the dashboard and lots of good stuff around club area visits and Sally and Steve. Oh, I thought I changed that to Steve and Sally. Well, it's going to be in the order of Steve and Sally are going to be giving a couple of testimonials about club area visits and their benefits. Then we'll take another break. Hey, how about that? And then Narendra Patel will do moments of truth. Pravina Raman will talk about the mechanics of the club success plan. We'll have some time, hopefully, for a few division council meetings, and then we're off for the afternoon. Next slide, please. All right, could you now stop your slide share for a moment? Thank you. I would like to, I don't, I think she's in the room. Is Rose Curlin in the room yet? I know she's going to hop in and join us at some point. Well, Rose Curlin is our regional advisor, and she has been great giving us guidance and answering questions. And she's going to be hopping in at some point during our meeting. How many division directors do we have here today by a show of hands? Oh, come on, show your faces, people. Otherwise, I can't see. Well, you can put your electronic hands up. All right. Division directors, we've got quite a few. This is awesome. This is what we want to see. How about area directors? How many area directors do we have in the room? Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. How many club officers do we have in the room? Club officers, hand up. Yay! Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us this year. I really appreciate it. We all really appreciate it. How about past club, or rather district governors, district directors do we have in the room today? We've got a few. You're not one of those, Jeff. You can't put your hand up. All right. Welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. I acknowledge you. Thank you so much. All right, back to the slide share, if you will. I would like to make just a couple of announcements. We had a most awesome end of year party last Saturday night. And at that party, we recognized, let's hear it, we recognized the Division Director of the Year, Division A, Jeff. Woohoo! Congratulations, Jeff Young, on Division Director of the Year. And when you have a Division Director of the Year, you often have areas that are just awesome. Our Area Director of the Year, Pravina Raman. Welcome, Pravina, and congratulations. Woohoo! We are so thrilled, and you are both here today, of course. And thank you, thank you, thank you for all of the good work that you have done for Toastmasters and have done this past year. It is so appreciated. I also wanted to let you know that, it's interesting when you're not the district director, you think, well, why didn't they do this and why didn't they do that? And so here I am, the district director, and how come the incentives aren't out yet? And how come OATM isn't out yet? I had no idea everything else that was going to be bombarding me and bombarding the trio. Those are so close to being ready. We're going to have them out before the next deck for sure, but just look for those announcements both in the newsletter. We probably will put it in an email along with other things that we're announcing so we don't do quite the bombarding with emails we've been doing, but we're going to be having those out pretty soon. We're excited about some new ones that you'll be seeing that Linda's going to be talking about. And also, I wanted to make an announcement. I hinted at it at the party last week, and I got people to say yes that I put it out to. I was so busy, I actually never put it out to the division directors. I apologize. If you have heart failure over this, let me know. But how many of you can rattle off your tongue just instantly what OATM stands for? Just rattle it off your tongue right off. One person. We have a couple of people. All right. Well, that is an acronym that has driven me crazy since I joined Toastmasters. And even when I could figure out what it stood for, it never made sense to me. OATM, Outstanding Award Toastmaster, or Outstanding Achievement Toastmaster, or Outstanding Achiever Toastmaster. What does that even mean? It doesn't flow. So we're changing the name. Okay, we're changing the name this year, and we're going to drive people crazy because it's pretty close. The acronym is pretty close to what it is now. And so everybody this year, until you get used to it, is going to be driven crazy. I know it. It is going to be OTMA, Outstanding Toastmaster Award. Outstanding Toastmaster Award, okay? Now, I know what that means, and I can rattle that off my tongue, and I'm going to learn to be able to say OTMA, just like I used to say OATM, OTMA, right? So let's work on that. I just, we all the bunch of us that talked about it liked it better. We're going to go for it, see how it works. It's going to be the exact same award. Another thing that we're going to be doing at the end of the year that's different than we've done in the past is that when we have folks that have earned multiple plaques, for instance, the Elite Triple Crown, and you've been going crazy and you earned 2 of those or 3 of those, you're not going to get 3 plaques next year. What you're going to get is a plaque that says Elite Triple Crown ×2 or Elite Triple Crown ×3. You have way more room on your wall for one award, and it says it all on the plaque. It says it all. So if you want to feel really good about having done that 2 or 3 times, you don't have to chase down 3 plaques to try to hold them up and say, see, they're all for the same year. No, I've got 1 plaque. And it says it right here, ×3, ×2. The same for the OTMA award. No, you only get 1 of those. There's another one, though, that you can get more of. I can't remember what it is, but whatever it is, you're only going to get 1 plaque for it, okay? Because we're going to put ×2, ×3. So that's kind of how it's going to be. Yes, it'll be cheaper, but that's not really why, you know? You can only stand so much bling in your house, and I can only mail so much bling out to the members. So that's those are the announcements for the kind of the quick changes. And I'm too talky. I've got that T DTM syndrome, so I'm going to shut up now and let's move on to Linda. I'd like to welcome our program quality director.
Thank you so very much, Sally. Again, the theme this year is the same as it was last year. Revitalize, rebuild, reinvent, because we really need to make some major changes in how we do business right now. Next slide. So we're doing training. And I'm only going to show you 2 months at a time because I think otherwise it overloads our brains. And we go, what am I going to do? I can't get all this. But it is all in the calendar, should you want to go there. And actually, September is going to have one more thing in it. Right now, we're doing AD, DivD, Club Officer Second training. We just did that this week. Very, very well received. And we will be doing a third one in September on September 9th. So mark your calendars. Again, a whole new look at the training for ADs, DVDs. And just to remember, you guys and gals need, count them, 4 hours of training. 4 hours of training. So far, the division directors have done 2, and then those that came to the meeting in August did another 2. So they could be in great shape, but there are some of you who didn't show up, and it's going to be important for you to show in September. The reason we're doing another September one is that we still don't have all of our ADs, and they need 4 hours of training. So on the 21st of September, if you want to jot this in your calendar, we will be doing a 4-hour training from 9 in the morning your time to 1 in the afternoon. So put that on your calendar and plan to be there. On the 19th is Area A and B doing their club officer training. And on the 29th, Areas E and F. And that will culminate the TLI COT training period. Then in September, we have one more training, a Train the Trainer that my wonderful colleague, Ashley Harkness, is putting together. Do please register for this. We will be doing it live as well as on Zoom. So at the moment, it's not there yet, but it will be soon. And mark your calendars. Next slide. Oh, and by the way, those flowers are special for September and October. So you'll see different flowers every month. Next slide, please. So deadline, September 30th. All officer training need to be recorded with TI. I'm chunking on that. I've got the first batch and area C and D almost done. All AD, DivD training, that's that 4 hours, needs to be recorded to TI. Budget will be approved and sent to TI, and I'm sure Winnie's going to talk more about that. The district success plan, the marketing plan, the communications plan, which is what the trio does, needs to be to TI. And last of all, our membership renewals are due for October 1st through March 31st. Remember, there is an incentive that ends on the 15th of August, getting 100%, 75%, and 50% of your officers and your members to renew. And the cool thing is TI has finally gotten the full year in there. So you can do one-stop shopping and complete your entire year. Next slide. Incentives. Thought you'd like to know kind of what's coming up. Dues, first half, 100% is, again, these are all due on the 15th. You get $50. If you do 75%, you get $35. If you do 50%, you get $25. Don't leave this money laying on the table. It won't come back. And those of you that are doing mini success plans or the success plan, those are due also on September 30th, and another $25 into your district bucks account. So lots of incentives coming up right now, at least as what I can see on our list right now. And with that, I'm complete. No, there are no links on these Renee.
Thank you. It looked like a prior slide, not this slide, but a prior slide looked like it had links.
Right, but those are all calendar links as well.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Yeah.
But if the slides are not available, they're not available. Thank you.
Yeah, I can send that slide to you, Renee, if you would put your email in the chat.
Thanks. Go ahead.
And that's all I have.
All right, so I think I'm up then. Okay.
You are. Take it away.
Thank you very much. And for those of you who missed it, I'm still Jeff Young, and my motto for the year is making clubs better one member at a time. And what does that mean? It means that everyone counts. And people who aren't even Toastmasters yet also count. And my feeling is that we can learn from each other because we come from different paths. We all arrive at the same spot behind the podium, whether it's real or virtual, in front of a hopefully friendly audience, usually anyway, and we make our clubs home for each other. And we need to remember that the stranger that walks through our door might be found family tomorrow. Next slide, please. One of the first things I've learned as club growth director so far is that you have to start pretty early in the morning. And I thought it meant just hit the ground running. Instead, it's been a lot of classes and a lot of searching for the folks that volunteer to work on my team, and a lot of, hey, Jeff, this is due, keep up. And I feel like I'm riding a bike, and you know what they say about riding bikes, get a lot of skin knees and wear a helmet. But the end of the trail is in sight, so I have some exciting plans ahead for everyone. But first, I want to explain, because people asked, what it takes to be a distinguished district. And most of you know that to be a distinguished club, you need at least 5 DCP points and the membership numbers for it. For the distinguished division, you need to get 75%, area first. 75% of your area director reports in. So those of you area directors, please do your club visit for both November and May. And your area can't lose a club. And also 50% of your clubs need to be distinguished. For division, it's 40% of your club base distinguished and don't lose a club. All the way back up to the district, which is 1% club growth and don't lose a club. And also 40% of the clubs need to be distinguished. And I think I have that slightly wrong because this is off my notes as opposed to off the very fun slide for this. But the important thing is that bottom line, for the clubs, it's about getting all the things done for the DC points. For everyone else, it's make sure you don't lose people. If we lose a club, we lose the game. So that's my job, to make sure we don't lose. And it's pretty much everyone else's job to make sure that we look out for each other. Speaking of which, speaking about getting things done early, I'd like to give a special shout out to City Speech and Pleasanton Community Club, both of whom already have their 5 DCP points, and Pleasanton actually has 6. So it goes to show that the earlier you get this done, the earlier we know where we're going. I'd also like to mention that we have officially declared the open house season open. And my goal for the year is to get 80 of you, that's 80 clubs, to run at least one open house. And to make it more enticing, we have an incentive that your very first open house counts double. As in, instead of the usual $20 in incentive bucks, you get 40. So it's worth it to run at least one open house, because that is worth getting at least some sort of things for your hybrid meetings, a better microphone, and a bunch of stuff you can get through the system. We also have, for the people who say, it's too hard, what do I do? We have Pallavi and a bunch of people, including my new open house chair, Pravina, coming up with an open house kit. It includes a script, it includes a template for your flyer, and it includes a checklist of what you need to do to run an open house. Takes the guesswork out of it, makes it easy for you. It's easy money. Next slide, please. And we're going to be rolling out that hopefully by the end of August. So keep an eye out for it. The other thing I want to talk about is Speechcraft. How many of you are having meetings where there's a lot of dead air and silence when table topics run out? What do you do when the person who's supposed to give a speech doesn't show up? Or simply, there's no one who wants to give a speech this week? I have a solution for you. It's Speechcraft. It's an investment for your future for those of you who are in smaller clubs. Because although some of you might have heard the term Speechcraft, how many of you know what it actually is? Short version is, it's a crash course in Toastmasters for people who aren't sure. It's the try before you buy, or the sampler platter of Speechcraft. It's pretty much level 1 that you want to put on for up to 5 people who are brand new guests to your club. And why I say to your club is because we have a program that we're rolling out now that if your club has less than 16 members and you have someone who is working on their DTM or somebody who wants to work on it, you can have them be a Speechcraft coordinator. And we will reimburse the club up to the cost of the Speechcraft program, which is $50, $10 per Speechcrafter who finishes the program in your club. Why do you need the club? Well, because in Speechcraft, not only do you need the Speechcraft coordinator, but you need people to put on demonstrations and educational sessions for the parts that are to be demonstrated for Speechcraft. So like, for example, how do you do an icebreaker? How do you do table topics? Various things like that. How do you evaluate? And of course, you need the usual timer and evaluators and people to mentor the new people. So instead of 6 months of Toastmasters, it's 8 sessions. If you would like to host a Speechcraft, please contact me or my Speechcraft chair, Tim O'Brien. And if you want to have people come speak at your club, put on your advisor hat and host a Speechcraft into your club as soon as we have people who are interested in doing so. We can also help you advertise. Right, next slide, please. All right, I'm running a little low on time here. So I just want to say that at the moment, there are over 30 clubs that have less than 13 members. This is not a good place to be. If your club is one of them and you'd like assistance from the district, we're out here for you. If you're working on your DTM and you think that you want to get outside your club, we have a job for you. We need coaches. I have 6 so far, and obviously 30 minus 6 is 24, so I need a lot more coaches. Being coach is part of your DTM requirement. So again, if you're going for that, and you don't want to run a Speechcraft, coach is a way to go. And all it means is just attending another meeting that you didn't normally already have. And in the same vein, if you want to coach a whole bunch of brand new Toastmasters, when I'm founding clubs this year, I'll need mentors. And that means sticking around for 6 months for the club. Club coaches and club mentors have one thing in common. They're responsible for making sure we hang on to the Toastmasters that we've got. And that is my time. Back to you.
Good
Thank you.
morning,
Thank you
good
so much, Jeff.
afternoon.
And you're right, Leesa, you're up.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So I want to start with a quick story. I was told that's the way to start. And my quick story is we're part of Region 1, where Rose Kurland is the amazing regional advisor. And the other day at the meeting for the PRMs, she asked, how many people are on your team? So I waited to go last. And somebody said, there's 1. And somebody said, there's 2. And when she finally got to me, I said, I'm very proud to say, I think we now have 14. So our 14 are amazing. And as Sally says, I am the poster child for having no tech skills, and yet we have an amazing PR team. So they do the tech, and I help to manage them in doing so. Next slide. So Levon has put out his second newsletter. I know we don't have gallery on, but a raise of hands of the people that I can see. Has anybody seen the newsletter? Jeff, I can see you. Sally, thank you. Linda, perfect. Kate. So if you have any comments on the newsletter, we have a form that you could put newsletter comments on. It is the website form, but you can also use it for commenting on things you'd like on the newsletter. Next. So Shri has been very, very busy as our Meetup chair. Meetup is struggling a little bit because of a number of varieties of issues, but the struggle is over. We're ready to move forward. It will save the district money and it will be amazing. So if you have a Meetup that your club uses, contact Shri or she will be contacting you, or see the newsletter or website for details. Next, please. Eric has been absolutely amazing in keeping up with the calendar, and we want to make sure that your calendar events are not just featured in the calendar, but they will be featured in 2 additional ways. And one of those is at the top of the newsletter going forward, where we have the most important dates for that month at the top. And then next slide, please. Gerlando is making sure that all of those special events get featured on the newsletter, on the website. And the other thing that we've been talking to, I thought it was the next slide, it will come up, is that we're getting way too much mail. So the fact that we're getting so much mail, a lot of it's not even being opened. Although we looked yesterday and analytically, we figured out we're at 50% that are opening emails. So that's really good. And the podcast, the first one was seen over 100 times. The second one has been seen over 75 times, and they're featured on the website on the front page. And the third one is about to drop any time. And instead of sending out another email, next slide, please. Nope, not yet. So there we go. That's what I wanted. We'll go back to the other one right afterwards. Derek, our MailChimp manager, has agreed that he feels like a spam master because you've got way too much mail coming in. And instead, what he offered yesterday to do, hopefully starting tomorrow, once it gets approved, is to send out a weekly digest of all the mail that would go out in any current week. And so the announcement for the podcast, the announcement for the newsletter with the link would go out as a weekly digest. Whatever you have, including club open houses, get it to Derek, and it's dho@d57tm.org, and you can have your club special events, your open houses, put on that weekly digest. So Derek's amazing, and I'm looking forward to that happening. Can you go back to the last slide? Thank you. Katie is phenomenal. She is willing to do flyers and to train people in doing flyers. This information about the flyers was in the current newsletter. So if you haven't read your current newsletter, please read it and look for how to make Canva flyers. And if you want training, she is willing to train the top 5 people that get to her first. You don't have to have any experience, just contact Katie. Thank you. Next. And we'll skip over Derek's. Perfect. Dee Marie and Alex have been phenomenal. As I said, we have been putting it up on the Facebook. Speak, Lead, Grow is incredible. Sally was featured. I was featured. The next one to be featured is Linda, and it's an amazing podcast. So make sure when that digest comes out tomorrow that you click on the podcast for Linda. And like I say, it will be in the newsletter. It will be on the website, and it will be on Facebook. Next, please. And speaking about Facebook, we do have a Facebook group. Please go there and look for the wonderful things that this district is offering. We also now have LinkedIn. District 57 Toastmasters, if there's anything you want to share, please share it. You're welcome to post on LinkedIn and on District 57 at Facebook, and your post will be read. Next, please. And speaking of our wonderful podcast team, there are playlists. So if you subscribe to our channel on YouTube at D57, which apparently has somebody else's background because the San Francisco Bridge, from what I hear in New York, is not actually part of District 57, but that's what's there, and that's the picture you're to look for. And Hans, who's here today and is an amazing trainer, and he will be doing the training on the 19th and the 29th for PR. He's done the other ones. He's absolutely incredible. And he's the one that's been putting everything up on YouTube and making sure that the playlists are usable, that old stuff is out and new stuff is up. And if you have any issues with finding YouTube, please find Hans. Next, please. And our current and upcoming initiatives, we are using Incentive Tracker, not VIMS any longer. And our initiative is for every club to have a newsletter. So even if you just write up a short recap of what's happening in your meeting, you can call that a newsletter, get that out to your members, and then once you have it, get it to your area directors, your division directors, and to Lee, so that the best of the best can be judged and incentives can be given, but even more so that your amazing stories can be shared in the district newsletter. And again, 2 more trainings, look for them on the calendar, and I think that's my last slide. Thank you so much, and back to you, Sally.
Okay, and thank you. And I hope you're up for it, Leesa, because I'm going to tease you just for a moment here. It's the Golden Gate Bridge, not the San Francisco Bridge. And one side of
I've
that
actually
bridge
been there
attaches,
once, Sally. I
one
was
side of
there.
that bridge attaches to where? District 57. Okay.
Yay!
And where's the rest of it?
So you
Well,
leave
as a New
that you
Yorker,
leave
I
that picture
apologize.
alone.
As a New Yorker, I do apologize, and I'm glad to
No,
hear.
no worries. You don't have to. It's a wonderful tease, and your team is just amazing, as you well know. So thank you so much. Next on the agenda, we are so, oh no, I just made us run over time with that little narrative. Winnie, you are up.
Thank you. My internet is not very stable. Just in case it get disconnected, somebody would pick up, okay? Good morning, everyone. Related to the district budget, fortunately, we received the template, from the Toastmaster International on time, and we are working with the drill and the district leaders. So we are on target. So hopefully we should be able to submit the budget, before September 30th, just like Linda mentioned earlier. But I encourage everybody attend the business meeting and vote for the budget in September. Look for the day that for the business meeting. The year-end audit is going on, and Tiffany and the audit committee, they are gathering the information, and we are working on the audit, the year-end audit. Next slide, please. There are a few people, if you access to Concur for the district box reimbursement. You need to have the new user requests. And here is the link showing on the screen. So you can access and apply for the new user ID so you can access to Concur. If you have the district box for your club, you need to have the reimbursement. You need to have the receipts, and also you can access to it. I can help you on that. So if you have any questions, please feel free and send me an email and I can help you. And the TI had the Concur user training, and I can send you the link so you can access to the Concur program. You don't have any problem. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Okay. Thank you so much. Back to you, Sally.
You making up the time for us. Oh no, you've got one more slide, Winnie.
Okay, sorry. One more slide. Just try to remind everybody related to the computer and email scams. So ensure that you look
Yep, she just froze up. So be aware of scamming emails that
meeting.
look like they're from us. And also, if you get text messages that is simply a link from somebody that looks like it's from someone you know, don't open that link unless you check in with them. That happened to me this week, and I didn't open, and it was from Linda. You know, you'd think I would trust her, but no. I wrote her and I said, "Did you send me this?" And she said, "No, I didn't send you that." So I deleted it. So be aware that the scammers are out there. It's not just in our district. I've been hearing reports from other districts. So anyway, we're going to be just a quick reminder every single meeting. That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Winnie. We are now going to have a break. We're going to come back at 9:50. So this is a big break. And you know, do what you need to do. We will stop why don't we stop the share and oh, Jeff, you have a
10
hand
minutes
up?
is 9:45.
Oh, is it from now?
Mhm.
Oh, good. Thank you. 9:45. Thank you so much. I'd rather have it like that. And visit if you like until 9:45. Thanks, and thank you all.
So I'm aware that I gave you guys like a lot of information. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those during the 10-minute break.
It looks like people have run off to take care of things. But thanks for offering, Leesa. And
Not a
yes,
problem.
I appreciate you putting the suggestion from Derek up because it's a perfect one. And I did read it and I did think it was good. I just hadn't had a chance to talk with you about it.
Well, I did use the word may, and that we're hoping once it's
Yes.
approved.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a really good
You know, it's
idea.
funny, it came to me immediately after I complained to you about not doing it. And I thought, you know, gee, you're going to get both of these and you're going to think that we were like working in cahoots, and we were
Yeah.
not. This was like synchronicity.
You know,
So,
actually, I didn't think you were. That's interesting. No, I got it, and I thought, oh, well, Derek, and you and I, you know, are all thinking on these same lines and wondering how to manage this. So,
yeah, well, that's what happened. And I did send you a note saying that you had mentioned that you wanted to meet with the male team.
yeah,
And
we will when we get back. It's just,
okay, yeah, I
you know,
know it's tough with
it's
everything.
quite possible that that meeting is going to happen the first week in October, to be
That's
honest
fine.
with you.
That's
We
fine.
have
And
a
we're
ton of
managing
things
it
due. Yeah,
with the two different suggestions. I think we're managing it in the meantime. You know, I think
good.
that the suggestion, and Lee loved it, about having everything at the top page of the newsletter, that's going to happen. And then the weekly digest will also happen.
Yeah, well, let him know that I'll get what I owe him to him by the 15th.
Right. And I'm sorry to Hans, wherever he is, that I didn't have his coaching, his contest judging or chairing or whatever he is. I'll make sure to do that for next time.
Sure.
I would have added it, and you know, no harm intended.
Nope, you're good. We're all
Thank
good.
you. Thank you. So. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in myself for not planning on going to Anaheim, but health-wise, I'm much healthier not going.
Yeah, no, you know, we all do what we can do, and that's all we can do, you know.
Right. Well, I'm hoping that with Ashley and Jeff being here, that we can do a little more. So I wanted to talk to each of them and see, you know, if we can meet up during the virtual and
Yeah.
maybe watch some of it together or whatever.
Katie and I will be online. We can watch it together, Leesa.
What, honey?
Katie and I will be on virtual, so we can watch it together.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. So now we've got like 5 of us.
I won't pop up there in Anaheim and do stuff for you this time, though.
Oh, I know, and you were wonderful at the conference. I don't know if you heard, I saw him the other night online. He there was this guy, and I can't remember his first name, but it's in my Facebook, that did a speech, and then Alexandre and somebody else gave feedback on the speech, and then they did the speech over again. And oh my God, the transformation that they made was absolutely phenomenal. It was so good. It was hosted by Squim Toastmasters, and it was really good.
I should watch that
Nice.
recording again. I know I recorded it with my
Yeah,
phone, but I don't know where it went.
I may have it. I'm sure
I don't see DTM after your name, Cynthia. Yay.
Ah, you're right. Let me
Great.
fix it.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
great. I didn't realize you were one of the many or the few.
Yes.
Few.
One
That's
of the
Recently.
few. Yeah,
That's
one of the
great.
few.
Hey, Sankar,
Hello, yeah.
we've
So-
been missing you.
yeah, definitely. No, I'm part of the club growth director team, so Jeff
Yeah,
team.
no, I need you as part of my PR team.
No, even yeah, I
He's,
want to
he's
just
already
apologize.
spoken for.
That's what I was
Yeah,
told.
no,
Yeah.
I was about to say, Sally, last week meeting, so I was not able to attend because we had a production implementation, big two project went live, so I was so busy Saturday, Sunday. So sorry for that.
Yeah, that's all
Otherwise, I
right.
would, otherwise I would have joined. Thank you. Missed the
That's
bus.
okay. You know, life happens. Is that what they say? Life happens for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that the other end of that bridge goes to another district, Sally? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. Just saying.
So,
I had to tease you about it.
so like the New Yorker in the crowd, where does it go?
District 4.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's
thinking.
which is San Francisco.
And
Yeah.
then isn't like 101 near there?
Yes.
They're south. They're in the Silicon Valley mostly. They're like Los Altos and beyond.
So they're not near the bridge at all.
They
No.
used
Not
to be.
really. Well, they're south. They're
Four-
They
south of
used to,
San Francisco.
101 was District 4 once upon a time. So,
Oh,
And they broke
okay.
it in half.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And they have other bridges. 101 has
The
other.
Bay. Well,
Yeah,
half
yeah.
the Bay is for District 57 too, if you think about it.
Yeah.
so the bay is a bridge.
The
The
Bay
Bay
Bridge.
Area, Bay Bridge and the Golden Gate are the two main arteries
Yeah.
into the city from the North Bay and the East Bay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some 30 years ago, I sailed under the Golden Gate, and we went to
Yeah.
Alcatraz, and we did Lombardo Street, and I'd love to get back there. It was amazing. Nice trip.
thank you. Jeff, I
One of
got your
these days,
email.
maybe for the conference.
Yeah. No, Jeff, just quick update. I just got your email last week,
Okay.
and I'll work
Yeah,
on
I saw.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll help.
Don't. We're good.
Thank you.
Yeah, basically, everything I've been doing has been to get up to this point to DECM today, and even I was putting notes in before the meeting started, and maybe a few while the meeting was running. But I will catch up next week because I don't think I have anything until the 19th. Two minutes.
Yeah, Sally, one of the things you had said in meeting was that you were going to go through kind of like the layout of the year. And I would love to know like the layout of the fall.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm planning a bunch of like things like to be away, and I don't want to be too far without connection if there's something important.
Yeah, we'll probably that meeting will be the trio and you and your people.
Oh, okay.
Most of what we're doing is for September 30th, which is everything's due that goes with representing the district.
Right. Yeah, I'm here until then, except for Labor Day weekend. But then it gets crazy.
Well, we're on the countdown.
10.
All right. We are just about ready to get started. There it is, 9:45. And I would like to thank and welcome back 45 of us that are here on this meeting today. This is fabulous. But let's get started. The importance of area club visits. We have a couple of personal stories. Steve, today I would like to call you up and give us a little bit of your personal history.
All right. Well, thank you, Sally. I'd like to talk about the year I was area director. It happened, I see Dennis on the call. It happened to be the year Dennis was district governor. But anyway, I was area A22. At the time, Alameda was an A22. And we had about 4 or 5 clubs. I belonged to Island City. One of the clubs was Sweet Talkers. And they were in the Harbor Bay Isle business area of Alameda. And they were a brand new club. They were about 6 months old when I took over as area director. A lot of energy, a lot of members having a lot of fun, but they had a crisis right away. Their club president was a contract worker. And what that meant is the contract would get renewed. And as long as it was renewed, he'd stay at the company. Well, they didn't renew it. He left the company. And in order to be a member of Sweet Talkers, you had to work at Abbott Labs. So they did not have a president. Now, Susan was a vice president of education, and she had a lot of energy. She was very organized, and she took on the role as leading the club. She didn't call herself president, but she led the club. And we had a really good connection. You know, I would visit Sweet Talkers to talk to them about club officer training, incentives, and other services the district provides. And we also collaborated on how they could grow and be a successful club. Well, we built a connection, and something happened inside me where I found out how leadership could really enhance my experience in Toastmasters and outside of Toastmasters. So the year went on, I would visit the club, and every time I'd visit the club, they would let me speak for about 5 minutes. And that would get me an evaluation. They had a guy named Al there. I don't know where Al is now, but he gave the best evaluations that you can imagine. And every time I'd go visit, Al or somebody else would give an evaluation, and I would learn and I would grow in my speaking. Susan and I continued to have the conversations. And while all that was going on, I was having trouble at work. My manager and I were not getting along. So the year goes by, they're sitting at about maybe 16 members, 17 members. Susan and the club is really motivated to get their 20 members so they could be distinguished. Meanwhile, at work on my day job, I've got this company meeting. And the company meeting is intense. It's just really, really tough. I'm butting heads with my manager. Other people are having issues. And all of a sudden, my phone buzzes. And I couldn't pick it up, but I saw that it was Susan. Well, the break comes, and I call her back, and she says, Steve, we just had an open house. We signed up 3 members. We're at 20. We're going to be distinguished, and I wanted to thank you for the support you gave. Now, I'm saying to myself, I've been a Toastmaster for 2 years, and I don't know what support I gave. All I did was have conversations with Susan. We collaborated on things, and my support was saying, yeah, Susan, that's a good idea. But the fact is, as an area director, I was there, and that's when I learned that you don't really need these special skills to provide leadership. What you need is just to be there and make yourself useful to the club. They're going to grow. They're never going to forget you. And you know, as far as work goes, my manager lasted about another 2 years. Managers came and went. I lasted with the company about another 4 or 5 years. I think we both landed on our feet, but the growing experience as an area director was just something that I've taken with me for the rest of my life. So keep doing the club visits. It's not just for the district, and it's not just to check off the box. You're going to get something out of it. Back to you, Sally.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Wow. That's really impactful because it really speaks to everyone. Excuse me, quick drink. I also have a story that I'd like to share. I was area governor, like you were area governor, same as area director. And I don't remember what year it was, but it was an area D26 governor. And I read what was required of being an area director. Area visit report, one visit to the club in the first half of the year, each club, one visit to each club second half of the year. And that was the sum total. You should go to DECM, would be a good idea, but you know what? I was doing other stuff. I didn't have time to bother with DECM. So that's what I did that year. I went to visit each club once. I spent the day that those reports were due all day typing up those reports and submitting them and hoping that the website wouldn't clog up because everybody else was doing the same thing I was doing. No, not everybody else. The smart people weren't. But I was sitting there the last day. And I managed to put on the club contest. Now, back in those days, we had 2 conferences every year, and we had 2 sets of contests. So we had contests going on in the fall. We had contests going on in the spring. So I had 2 area contests to put on that year, and I did that. And when I got to the end of the year, I kind of scratched my head and I thought, I don't really understand what the big deal is about being an area governor. You know, they tell you that you should do this, that you'll grow, that you'll be better. And I didn't really see it. I felt like somehow I'd missed something. So I went to the powers that be for that coming year and I said, you know, I'd like to do it again. I'd like to do it again because I missed something. And I don't know why they said yes. You know, I had to have been about the worst area governor they'd ever seen, but they did say yes, and they let me do it again. And the next year, what did I do? I had an area council meeting every month. Every month, you know, and that was a thing, but I never did them. So I did an area council meeting every single month. And I visited the clubs, every club probably at least 2 or 3 times each half of the year. And what I found was that when I needed to put together the area contests, 2 of them, remember, I could go to the clubs and ask for help, and I knew the people in the clubs. And I could just call out a name and say, John, could you help? Could you be a timer? Could you be a ballot counter? I networked with the other area directors. I said, hey, can you be one of my judges? And guess what? I'll come judge for you. And remember that in that day, we were all in person. I was driving all over this district, up north, down south, everywhere, being judges for contests, getting to know people throughout the district. And I did that twice. And when I got to the end of the year, all of a sudden I had this network of friends and people that I knew. I had the experience of learning about the habits of the different clubs in my district, in my area. I stole ideas from them to take back to the club that I belonged to, and I gave ideas to them about things that I had learned from the other clubs and from my home club. At the end of that year, it was worth it. It was satisfying, and I felt like I had really grown. My message is, my bottom line is, visit your clubs, do those area visits, check in with their executive team before you file those visits. Remember that your reports are just like a speech evaluation. Couple of things that they could improve on, and a whole bunch of things they did really well. And that way they can focus on the couple of things, even if there are 10 things they might improve on, just a couple of things, so that they can improve, and work and grow. So that's my message to you. That's my story. Check it out. Try it out. Back to you. Oh, that would be me. I would like to now call on our presenter for this upcoming training session, Dennis Dawson. If you would advance the slides now. Can you manage your own slides and talk, Dennis? Is that going to work for you?
Oh, I manage them all the time. Yes.
Okay. Well, then the floor is yours.
Thank you. And if you have the ability to turn on your camera, I'd really appreciate it. I hate sitting here talking to a bunch of black boxes out there. Also, if I can see your face, I know when you're bored and I'll move on. But otherwise, I just go on and on. I love the sound of my own voice. Yes. So yes, club visits are the most important part of your role as an area director. You have to realize you're the face of Toastmasters International. A lot of people never go to conferences or contests. The only experience they have of the larger organization is through their area director. Now, it's really important to know that you're not there to judge the club. You're there to observe what they're doing well, what they could be doing better. As Sally said, you steal all the good ideas you see and you pass them along. And then you take ideas that you see in the club meeting and you move them forward. You see, there's no experience that you've had outside of Toastmasters that prepares you to be an area director. You have to learn on the job. So it's perfectly okay to steal from everywhere you visit, but you just call it research. Now, at this point, you should be familiar with the point system that goes into establishing distinguished status. But it's not about earning points or getting a fancy ribbon for the banner. The DCP is a barometer you can use to judge how well your club is doing and whether it's going to survive another year. Now, how do you track the status of your club? Well, of course, with the club status report. Now, let's take a walk, and I'd like you to lean in on this. We're going to really take a good hard look at the club status report. So start at the top, right in the middle. The ideal size for a Toastmasters club is 20 members. Anybody know why? Just jump in, shout it out. Jeff knows why.
40% turnover.
No, you're getting ahead of me there, Jeff. That's
Sorry.
About membership. No, but yeah, you're on the right track. We anticipate that 60% of the members will show up to any one meeting. Not the same 12 people, but 12 people will show up. If you got 12 people, you got a speaker, you've got, two speakers, you've got two evaluators, you've got your Toastmaster of the day, you've got your general evaluator, you've got all of the functionary roles, and a few people to do table topics. And that is a sweet spot for a Toastmasters meeting. If you have a lot fewer people, of course, you've got the general evaluator doubling as the timer, or if you've got a lot more people, not everybody gets to participate in the meeting. So don't be too envious of a club that's got 30, 40, 50 members. It seems like they're being super successful, but in fact, they've got their own struggles to deal with. So that's why they're focused on this number 20. It's not just something that they pulled out of thin air. Now, to be a distinguished club, you've got to earn at least 5 or 6 points. That will make you distinguished. 7 to 8, I'm sorry, 5, 6, it makes you distinguished. 7, 8 does make you a select distinguished club, and 9 or 10 make you a president's distinguished club. All right. Every club should be president's distinguished every single year. I kind of object to the use of distinguished here because it sounds like you're doing something extra special. But frankly, if you're just a distinguished club, you've got a pulse. You're going to last another year. You really need to focus on all of these areas to succeed. Because remember, we are an educational organization. We're not a social club like the Elks, and we're not a service club like Rotary. We bring people together. We do things as a group that we cannot do alone. And we are a self-education organization. We use the Pathways program. If your members are not using the Pathways program, what are they paying for? They're paying for the opportunity to get together as a group. Well, they can quit paying Toastmasters. They can just get together and they can tell grandpa stories and everybody can say, oh, grandpa, that was such a good story. And that's their meeting. That's great if that's what they want to do. But if they actually want to grow as leaders and they want to develop their speaking skills, Pathways is the way that people are able to give a prepared speech, have it evaluated based on criteria, and everyone in the room learns. It's good for the speaker to get the evaluation. It's good for the evaluator to work on their evaluation skills. Everyone in the room hears the speech and the evaluation, and they make their own judgments about how it could have been improved. So if you're not using Pathways and you're not continually growing through that program, then your meetings are going to be kind of flat. People are going to talk about what they want to talk about, and the evaluations are going to be whitewash. And it's not going to be the Toastmasters brand, the Toastmasters experience that everybody has signed up for. So we want 4 level 1 awards from 4 distinct individuals. You can't have the same person get 2 level 1s. We want to be sure that it's spread across the group. You get a point for 2 more level 2s and another point for 2 additional level 2s. All right. So we're seeing people move through the ranks. 2 level 3s gets you a point. Level 4, 5 DTM, you get 1 point for each. So if you have somebody complete level 5 and get a DTM, that will count for 2 points. Right now, why do we want people to be achieving educational levels up and down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a Toastmasters club?
I
It
think we
shows
want people to advance beyond the first level and just continue growing and learning.
That's right. Now, the thing is, if you've only got people doing level 1 and level 2 speeches, they're all pretty much the same. And so you come week after week. It's a good experience, but you're not seeing those 20-minute speeches. You're not seeing the question and answer. So it's not just that it's good for the individual who's growing in the Pathways program, it's motivational for everyone else in the room because they'll want to do the same lessons and get the same recognition in the club. So it's really important not to be one of these clubs that's continually bringing in new members and every week is an icebreaker because you want to get beyond that and have the meetings be more interesting. Jeff gave the answer to this one. Why do we have to bring in 8 members a year? Because we anticipate we're going to lose 40% of our members every single year. Tim, I'm going to ask you to hold your question until after I'm finished with the presentation, but I'll get to you. We know that we're going to lose 8 members. Now, why do we lose them? Because some people change their job schedule. Some children's soccer practice changes its schedule. 1% of Toastmasters die. Look at me. I'm not going to last forever. So when I die, you're going to have to replace me. That's just the way it is. So we need to continually bring people in, not because you have a terrible club, but because we know things happen, life changes. It's just Toastmasters. So we want to bring in 1 member a month. That's what you want to shoot for, because if you miss a couple of months, that's great. You're going to get that 8 for the year. You have to have your officers trained. There's a 1-to-1 correlation between President's Distinguished Clubs and trained officers. So if you can get all 7 officers trained, you're going to be much better off as you progress through the year. The last 2 things are just administrative things, easiest points to earn. Get your membership dues on time. Why? Because there is not a Scrooge McDuck sitting in a bathtub of gold coins in Colorado. Yay, I'm fabulously wealthy. They sent us all the money. Hoo-hoo! No. The money goes in, the money comes back. Sally, you're not paying for your flight to Anaheim, are you?
No, I'm not.
No, because Toastmasters International pays for the travel for all of our district leaders. They pay for our conferences. They pay for the trophies that we award at contests. They pay for all this stuff, and they can't do that if they don't have the money. That's why it's important twice a year to get those dues in right on time so that the money can come back to the district. And why do you have to have an up-to-date club officer list? Because sometimes your former president moves to Guam, and stops answering email and all this important stuff about money for the clubs doesn't go to the right place. So look at this list now. Is there anything difficult to achieve on this list? I mean, really impossible. And the answer is no. If you plan it out, you're going to have a very easy time achieving all of these goals. Now, I want to take you through a couple of scenarios here that you can learn about using the club status report, looking at the clubs in your area and division. The first one I want to talk about is the President's Extinguished Club. All right. Now, why would I say that? Look at this club. They are right on top of it. They had started with 31. Okay, they lost 5 members. They're down to 26. But look at that. They got 5 out of 6 educational awards. All the others are checked off. This is a super duper club, right? Look at how well they did bringing in members. They brought in 17 with a net loss of 5. So what we have here is a club that lost 22 members that particular year. Well, I mean, that's an anomaly, right? No, we can go back the previous year. Look at that President's Distinguished Club. Dum da da dum. They brought in 21 members and they stayed where they were. That means they lost 21 members in a year. And look again at exactly what they earned in Pathways. They didn't have 6 of their 31 members get level 1. They didn't have 4 members get level 3. They got exactly the right number. Now, this means that as many as 11 people earned a level last year, or as few as 4, and they just earned all of the points. Okay? So you can't look at this and say, wow, that's a President's Distinguished Club. It's doing great. No, they're losing members right and left, and they are not necessarily moving people through the education program. So again, it's an anomaly. No, that's what happened the year before. They brought in 15 members and had a net loss of 13. So that's 28 people. And they came to Toastmasters thinking, I'm going to learn my public speaking and leadership skills. They got together with a nice group of people. They felt warmly welcomed. I've been to this club's meetings. They're really nice meetings, and it's a great group of people. People join, they do their icebreaker, they do another speech. The evaluations are not terrific in this club. They're whitewash. So you come in, you do your icebreaker and say, wow, you're so good. You did this right and this right and this right. And I can't think of anything to tell you to grow on. I look forward to your next speech. They do their second speech. You could use the stage more. You really drew me in. I look forward to your next speech. And they say, wow, I must be some kind of savant. I've already graduated Toastmasters. I don't have to come back. Now, it's probably Pathways, right? Okay, here we go, 23, same thing. Well, I don't know. If you go back to the legacy program, you'll see that they weren't tearing it up with that either at the time. So don't be fooled by clubs that are President's Distinguished year after year, but they're losing members left and right. This is very bad for the Toastmasters brand. Now, what can happen to a club that has this sort of drop-off? We had 21 members in this particular club, and then the next year, very few education awards. They dropped membership down by 7, couldn't bring in any more members. The next year, they went from 14 to 8 and earned very few education awards at all. And now they're down to 8. There. So we went from a President's Distinguished 21, hey, sweet spot, down to 8 members in 3 years. Now, some clubs are perennial peril. I like to say, you look at this club, oh, hey, they're doing okay. Boy, it's too bad. They went from 12 down to 8, but they brought in 3 members. Yeah, they're doing okay. Next year, we're going to do better for sure. But this has been going on for years and years. There are some clubs in District 57 that were always struggling when I was district governor in 2010. They're still in existence and they're still struggling all this time later. So, what I would advise you to do, don't spend all your resources on these tiny struggling clubs. All right. You go visit them, you give them the opportunity to take advantage of district resources. You offer them help. But these clubs very often just aren't going to have the culture that's going to allow them to build and grow. And I would advise you to start new clubs with a strong and energetic group of 20 people and spend your time trying to do that. Whereas if you look at a club that has been in trouble for 10, 12, 15 years, well, they're probably going to keep going. You're not going to lose the club, but they're also probably not going to grow and listen to district advice. Now, obviously, every one of these clubs is unique. You can't make these judgments before you go and talk to them, but it's a good idea to look back through their club status report for the past, and you can go back to 2008. So you can go back 5, 10 years, look at how it's been going and figure out some things about the club culture before you go and visit. You want to beware of club killers. Now, club killers are typically club officers who have been an officer for a very long time. They've established kind of rules and norms that are not in accordance with Toastmasters guidelines. They think they know better than the district leaders. They think they know better than Toastmasters World Headquarters. They ignore the manuals, ignore pathways. So why they think they know more than an organization that's been around for 100 years, I don't know, but they do feel that way. So when you go visit these clubs, don't just engage with the top officers, the experienced ones who have been there very long time. These could be DTMs that are killing the club. Be sure to engage with all of the officers and all of the members to really get a good understanding of what's happening in the club and whether they're following the Toastmasters program properly. There we go. So that's all the stuff that can go wrong. Well, how do we start on the right foot? Well, there's no more friendly way to introduce yourself to a club than performing the installation ceremony. And I wish I'd had a chance to get this message out earlier. Perhaps you've heard this from other people. The first visit, it's not too late. You go and you install the officers. Now, that is nothing but a warm, fuzzy feeling between you and the officers as you get going. And people then understand that you're a dignitary visiting from the Toastmasters organization, and you're there to support and be friendly with them. So you want to take a role in the meeting if at all possible, could be a speaking role. You could be the timer, whatever role you take, be sure you do an excellent job at being that role for that particular meeting. Now, this way, that's the first friendly interaction that you have with the club. When you come on your official visit, you're going to want to participate in the meeting again, but ask for some time afterward. And that's when you ask to look at their club success plan, whether it's the mini plan or the club success plan, the full form. Even the full form is not nearly as arduous as it was. Ed will remember. The original club success plan form took forever to fill out, and they've streamlined it really nicely. The club success plan is where you don't just aspire to meet the requirements of the DCP. This is where you actually plan out who is going to earn what award by when. So it's Jeff is going to earn his level 4, and he's going to complete that in November. And Sally's going to get a level 5 and a DTM. She's going to get those in December. And you've got it all played out. Well, what happens if Jeff misses his deadline? Well, we push that out to January. All right. But we know it early in the year. We don't suddenly get to May or June. You've probably all been in the clubs where they say, wow, gosh, Kate, could you do 3 speeches in the next month and then we could get up to select distinguished? Would you mind doing that for us? And everybody's scrambling around like headless chickens to get those points. Well, that's not the way to think of the Distinguished Club Program. It's something that you do. It's not something that you get. All right. So if you want to be a distinguished club, if you want to be a president's distinguished club, something that you work at all year. And if you do work at it smoothly all year, based on your club success plan, you're more likely to actually get there. Now, one tool I like to share directly with the clubs is the Club Coach Troubleshooting Guide. This is something you can download from Toastmasters International, and it asks some really probing questions about how things are going at this particular club. Now, we can be coy and we can try and trick people into learning about stuff that their club can do, or we can be upfront. Hey, here's a tool from Toastmasters International that you can use. You don't have to have a coach. You don't have to have me do it. You can work amongst yourselves and walk through these questions. Of course, if they don't walk through the questions, you can always walk through them with them yourself later on. Now, when you do your area visit, you're expected to complete the area director report. If you go in and you're starting it by filling out a report, you look like you're some bureaucrat coming in and telling them how crappy their club is. That's not what you want to do. Instead, you want to focus on the club success plan, because sneakily, everything in the club success plan flows right into the area director report. And so you can if you can be the person who is helping them to succeed with their plan, and it's going to help you to fill out your ADR. Now, if they don't have a club success plan by the time you get there, then you can do it the tail wagging the dog. You can fill out your area director report and slide the information over to them inside their club success plan. All right. But all of this works together. It's nothing disconnected here. It's the Distinguished Club Program and the club status report that you start with. That comes together in the club success plan, and then that informs your area director report. And so if you've got all three of those pieces in place, the club is much more likely to succeed. Now, I've talked about a whole lot stuff here. I happen to have a document that I call Useful Links for Officers, and I'm going to drop it in here. This is a list that I've been building over the past few years. I encourage all of you to also build your useful links list. Every time you come across something you think will be useful to your clubs or to other officers, drop it in there. And you're welcome to copy mine and build off of it or create a new one all of your own. But by having a ready reference to all of these links that I talk about, I can just hand it over to people and they're able to go and do things on their own. So at this point, I'm happy to take questions and comments. I want to start with Tim Carlisle, if he is still here to ask a question. There you go.
I wasn't going to answer a question, but I look at pathways kind of like a funnel. If you have new people start with, you have 8 new people, maybe 4 or 6 of them complete level 1, a couple of complete level 2, a couple crazies might go level 3 or 4 or 5. But then the next year, those people who are still working on it will continue to work on their level 1s and complete it, level 2s and so forth. So you just kind of fill that hopper, and that helps you be successful year after year, in my opinion. Thank you.
Okay. I want to put a little spin on that, though, Tim, because I want everybody to think of your home club. I want you to think of the very worst member you have. Right? The one that you wish, frankly, wasn't there. You wish they were gone. Who in your club does not deserve to be a distinguished Toastmaster? Thank you, Ed. Ed gave the little shake. Everybody deserves to be a distinguished Toastmaster. And one thing that I like to impress upon people is you don't do a bunch of stuff and then magically one day you are anointed a distinguished Toastmaster. What you do is you distinguish yourself as a Toastmaster every week. You be the best timer you can be. You be the best general evaluator you can be. You give those pathways speeches and you prepare them well. And when you give evaluations, you strive to be the best evaluator you can possibly be. If you distinguish yourself in all of your roles, then you become a distinguished Toastmaster, and it's just automatic. But if you're focused on being a distinguished Toastmaster, then you just kind of cynically do the stuff and you become don't time me DTM or didn't take much DTM. What we really want is someone who distinguishes themselves from the start in Toastmasters. And one way to do that is to very intentionally work the distinguished the Pathways program. Let's see, Ray, you had a comment, question?
Yes, I found that when I was doing the area evaluations, that it was much better to get, just as a speech evaluation, to get an idea of what their goals were before I evaluated. Whether it was the program they had written up. That way I could comment on that rather than try to figure out what I'm trying to evaluate. Is that a good way to go?
Oh, absolutely. So you're saying when you come in to fill out your area director report, you start by saying, I've got to fill out this report, but what do you guys want out of Toastmasters? Why are you all together? What's special about your club that you can be working on as a special goal this year? And get them engaged in that way. Yeah, I think that's absolutely great. Because a lot of times you'll go into a President's Distinguished Club and they may have earned all of their points by December and think, well, okay, we're all done. We can just cruise. But no, you can go in, you can encourage a President's Distinguished Club to help a non-distinguished club, for example. You can have them strive to double all of the education awards this year. So yeah, absolutely. Talk to them about what their goals are. And well, first off, show them how their goals are in line with Toastmasters goals. And if they're not in line with Toastmasters goals, for example, they say that they want to do some sort of project. That is a service project outside of Toastmasters, you may have to guide them for how that they can put it together with the Toastmasters program and not go off the reservation, as it were. Okay. Anne Marie.
Yes, you mentioned about culture, and I have come across clubs that just do not believe in the pathway. It was shocking for me because I come from districts that embrace pathway, but there are clubs that don't believe in it. They just want to do speeches. So how do you suggest encouraging, changing that culture or helping them to appreciate? Because to me, that is an issue in District 57, from my experience.
No, it certainly is an issue that is usually an issue with a club killer. That's somebody who's got a DTM or they've been in for a very long time. And they don't like this Toastmaster stuff, this pathways. I remember my manuals and they were beautiful and I loved using the manuals. And if you go back in their club status report, you'll find that they weren't using the manuals either.
But there is no success plan. There is no development. And this is not older Toastmasters. These are young Toastmasters that I'm seeing.
Right. But
so maybe I'm just unlucky.
Yeah, they're learning it from the experienced people in the club most of the time. If they're brand new users, brand new members, then they've never seen the old manuals. They've only seen pathways. So at this point, because you know me, I'm pretty blunt about all of these things. There's a train and it's actually gone through. It's left the station. That train is called Pathways. You can stand on the tracks and get run over. You can stay behind at the station, or you can get on board the train and go with Pathways. And people who don't want to work the Pathways program don't want to be Toastmasters. And you should encourage them to join Elks, or they can join Rotary. They can join another club, another organization that isn't an educational organization, with the Pathways program. Now, I was not the first person to jump into Pathways. I was really skeptical of it. When I did join, it still had some real problems with the user interface, but I finally had to make the change because I became a vice president of education. And once I did, I've embraced Pathways. It is a serious improvement over the manual system. There are things that they have changed about the program. For example, the lesson on mentoring at level 2. There wasn't an official mentoring lesson. Mentoring is really essential for the success of a club, and yet it wasn't part of the regular training that went on. So they made tweaks like that. And a big problem, in fact, in Toastmasters was when we had the paper manuals, people were just photocopying the lessons and using those. They weren't buying the manuals. As a result, Toastmasters lost a huge amount of money to copyright infringement. So now that we have the Pathways program, people have to pay for the lessons in order to get credit in the educational program. That means that that money is no longer lost as it was at that time. Now, it could be that you think that Toastmasters is a really rich organization and it doesn't hurt if I steal my lessons, but in fact, Toastmasters is a nonprofit organization that gets by on a shoestring budget ultimately. And so when people don't pay for their educational materials, that is a serious, serious hurt to Toastmasters International overall. So there are a lot of things about Pathways that could still be improved. And if you have suggestions, send them in to Toastmasters International. They listen. They have improved it. They added the vocal variety and gestures lesson back to level 1. That was missing, and people were complaining about it. They listen and they'll fix it. But Pathways is Toastmasters. Toastmasters is Pathways. And don't let anybody tell you different. Said Dennis. Jeff.
I'm going to add to that a little bit. One thing as a beta tester for Pathways that I learned was that the difference between the regular Competent Communicator manuals, the paper ones, and Pathways is that in Competent Communicator, you didn't have a choice. You had the 10 speeches, 10 projects, and you were done. You got the advanced stuff, you got the extras. Pathways takes all the advanced stuff and shoves them into level 3, 4, and 5. And also, it gives you lots more choices. You can customize it and you make your experience your own. And to kind of build on that, I want to think, or rather comment on what you said, Dennis, about the whole DTM bit. And it's not just about giving those speeches, it's about leadership. And those of us, myself included, who started off just giving speeches, speech after speech, turning them out, there's a point where there's a switch that you have in your head somewhere that says, you know, I've done this enough times that I can teach this to someone else. I can be the mentor to someone else. And the first time someone asked me to be the mentor, I said, no, I can't do it. I'm not ready. But somewhere in there, the DTM part, the leadership part is what brings you here, is what gets you up to being an officer first, then area director second, then division, I'm doing this right this time, division director next. And really, it's about recognizing that once you've learned everything you need to know, it's time to help other people learn the same way someone helped you. And that's where I see the difference is. The DTM is about being a leader, not just someone who does a whole bunch of excellent speeches. That's all I wanted to say.
You brought up a couple of good points there, because when Pathways was first introduced, you couldn't choose which lesson you wanted to do. You had to do all level 1 before you could move on to level 2. People complained. They changed it so that you can do any level you want. And it's a much better blend between the leadership tasks and the speaking tasks in the Pathways program. It used to be there was the Competent Communicator manual and the Competent Leader manual. And some people just ignored the leadership track altogether. All they did were speeches. So having it blended together in the Pathways program actually is more effective. And let's see, that's Pravina.
Thank you, Dennis. I just wanted to comment on the fact that you had mentioned, and that was an example that, clubs when they become presidents distinguished by December, then they feel that everything is done. Actually, I personally feel that the presidents distinguished, even if you check out and get all those minimum points on the DCB board and you're recognized, that work is throughout the year, because the more you show that all your members are working on their different levels, the more vibrant the club is. And so instead of having just 4 level ones, if a club of 30 members with the attrition and growing back to 30 members can show 15 or 20 level ones and 14 level 5, 4, 5 completions, you know that at a particular time, whatever the membership, whoever are there, most of them are involved and showing how vibrant the club is. So that's where I think the club goals should go towards, and we'll talk more afterwards on the club success plan. But it's just a comment that it's a continuous learning all the time.
Absolutely right. That's why I pointed out any club that specifically gets 4-2-2-2-1-1 is obviously just playing to the Distinguished Club program and not actually focused on everyone in the club learning. Greg, I'm going to take your question in a second. Whoever is the host, could you create the breakout rooms so that they're ready after Greg's response? Greg.
Yes, good morning, everybody. And so I think the question was from the person about how to get people to take pathways in the club. And I realized that serving as an area director a couple of years ago, not only in this district, but I was assistant area director here, but in another district, there was a lot of zeros in the pathways. And I spoke to the leaders of the club as a supporting area director, trying to help them out. And in my club here, when we get a new member, orientation is just not about what the all counter does or the meeting showing up and how the schedule works. But part of being a mentor is working with them to understand how to access the website, how to log in, and to go through the pathways with them. You can both be on the phone and walk through them on the screen or do it but in order for people to accept that pathways, which is basically a very difficult thing to navigate if you're not used to help them understand, we need as officers or members to focus with them. Now, we do a good thing with the district having a pathways series or a meeting every month or whatever. And a lot of clubs have put together a pathways mentor or club mentor for folks to have, or a few of them. And what we try to do in our club, the people who are used to pathways, we try to sit down with them, because I know when it was first introduced, we'd go to district meetings and we'd have somebody speak about pathways, and people come back way more confused than they were. So this has to be a lot more hands-on, where we're trying to work with people. I've been a Toastmaster for over 37 years. And when we introduced the legacy program, it was very simple. Overhead slides, people understood it, and we're off and running. They understand the Distinguished Club program and what it took. This, because of the computer age and the way it's introduced, and some of the feedback that World Headquarters has been getting about their computer program is not the most user-friendly for example, work to do, not just in pathways, but for other things. They are starting to get the picture that they introduced this in a poor manner. That kind of put a little fog in the area of people accepting it. But now it is the program. And I guess the question we have to ask our members, we refer to Toastmasters saying, well, can you volunteer to be a club secretary? Can you volunteer to speak? No, we join Toastmasters to learn, which means we are students. When you went to school, or college, you took the different courses and the majors to get to your point. And that's what we do in Toastmasters is if you want to learn, you want to grow, and that's why you pay your dues and you go, let's be students and accept that and be open to it and just mentor them to help them along. And now,
Okay, Greg,
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks very much. I do want to give you a chance to go into breakout rooms. All I want you to do is any one of you pull up dashboards from your clubs, take a look at them, go back through the dashboards a couple of years and see what insights you can gain by looking at the club status reports for one of your clubs from the past. Look at the ones that are doing well, look at the ones that are struggling, and see what's happened. So, Jeff, do you have the breakout rooms ready?
They're open now.
Okay. So everybody jump in and we'll come back. It's 10:35. We can come back at 10:50. Is that right?
Probably 10:45 if you want people to discuss it.
10:45, and then we'll have a discussion. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's better. Thank you.
And some rooms have 5, some have 4.
It is.
Question is, which room do I want to jump in?
So, Narendra, can you see a room that you can jump into?
Yes, I see the room.
Yeah, just pop in. Choose anyone.
He's the next presenter, so.
Oh, okay.
I am going to pop into the room that only has 3 people in it for whatever reason.
Yeah, I'm going to just jump between them and be sure that they're talking.
Okay. Great presentation, by the way.
Thank you, John. Oh, and that's fine. Yes.
Oh, I definitely don't want this.
Oh, here we go. Now we'll find out.
Tell us what we're doing in our breakout room.
One of you can pull up a club status report, and
Oh, I can do that.
yeah, and just take a look at reports in your area.
I can share mine actually. I was just logged in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see at my screen and then you can tell me because I have some questions.
Okay.
So better to be with the person who has the questions. Okay. Let me close this WhatsApp thing.
There you go. Wow, you got a lot of members.
Yes. So I was looking at our club status. And I was just looking at this membership renewal dues. We earned 1 point. That's what I understand, right?
Right.
But these are the main challenges that I see here. If I want to achieve this, right, I need to push the members for completing the pathways. And like you said, Dennis, I've seen people being lazy to select the workbook when they're requesting the speech. As a VPE, I can bucket them into a particular pathway, but I don't think so it does justice when you're trying to achieve certain levels. And that's where I've been trying to convince my member how to go about. I also had a session last weekend to educate them how to use the pathways and the easy speak so that they can have the pathways selected if they are not on any pathways, and how to request a speech. So that way we can have a clear-cut demarcation about who's completing the level 1 and level 2. But as a VPE, I find it a little bit challenging to have a concise report where I can see that who is the member who is nearing to the completion of a particular level for me to convince them to complete their path and help us achieve these points. So if you
Okay,
can
I
guide us
want
background
to.
on
I'm
that.
going to interrupt you. I want to give you a quick answer, and I'm going to jump to another room. Star Search. I was talking before about a perennially perilous club. Star Search is a perennial superstar club. You have a culture.
No worries.
Absolutely
Yes.
no problem. Where I'm sure that you've got people who are doing speeches at all levels.
Yes.
The strongest thing Star Search had was their buddy system. So it wasn't just mentors, but buddies teaming people up. And it was important because then they had 50 members. And it was the buddies who would encourage people and nudge them forward to advance in the program. It wasn't left up to the VPE. So I would definitely put your energy into getting buddies and mentors who are working with the new members as they come in and helping them to understand the system, because it's really hard for you to work with 38 people individually and be successful.
Yeah,
Right?
I agree. I mean, it's something that I'm doing with Heart to Heart, is that each new member gets an experienced mentor. Bye. Good to see you.
Thanks for coming.
They're opposite. Oh dear. So this shows you what, why did we pop this up? We popped it up because we wanted to know what last year was like. Let's move on to
last year.
Okay.
So have you shared a club status report?
Not yet. We're talking about our clubs, though. So just somebody just picks a club and shares it.
Yeah, just any one of you, and look at any club status report and then look back a year or so and see what you can learn from it. Okay, a little practical thing.
Okay.
Tim, you can help keep it on track, can't you?
Okay.
Sure.
How do I go to?
Oh, how did I get back in here?
Let's go share. Oh, look, it's Dennis Dawson. And we are sharing things. We looked at City Speech both today, a year ago today, and at the end of the year. At the end of the year, they had helped me out. How many level ones?
14? Oh.
What's
More than 10. More than 10.
More than 10. They had 11 level 3s. They trained 7 officers twice. It was a great thing. And they have a number of goals already.
Fantastic.
So here we're looking at yet another club. This is one of my clubs. You can see the base is 16. They're
because that, once they see, oh wow, this person really is a good evaluator, as Dennis was saying, or this is really a better way we can do table topics to make it fun. So if you need to do that, and I've seen a lot of clubs do this, if they don't have a club coach, but they want to start showing members what it should look like, they'll invite maybe 5 different people to attend a meeting or 2 or 3, just to get that feel of a normal club meeting. So anyway, I don't know if I've helped or not, but that was successful.
Did you pull up a club status report to look at as a
No,
group?
we're just talking about clubs that when I was an area director, one of my clubs had been for the few years before. They used to be a good club, then they went through a time when they were struggling. They had a club coach, and then how in my year they turned around and became select distinguished. The previous year they had become distinguished, and it just depended on the leader getting the club together. And he's now an area director and how he wants to, get more involvement. What I was going to add,
Let me just interrupt because I'm going to jump out. Those of you who haven't really looked at the club status report and haven't looked at it in the context that I shared earlier, I encourage you to do that after the meeting today. Just go and poke around in your club status reports. All right.
So the club status report, Dennis, what exactly were, because I can quickly show one of the club status report, what exactly were you having to go through all their clubs to see what they have been doing over the years?
Yes, just to see how they're progressing in the education program, etc. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Dennis, I would, can you show them how to get to the trainers, the training reports, like the club officer training reports? I know I had access to that, and it would be really helpful if they could, see more information to be of help to the clubs, not just the DCP or the, the progress report. I call it the DCP report, but for the
other daily reports.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. We're going to close in just a minute. I have to leave the breakout room. So you can ask Linda Patten for help with that because she's the PQD. Okay.
That time went quickly.
That's good. We did not want it to be boring for you. So everybody here, I'll point to you, Ed, when we have the full group back. You were doing a great job going through the CSR. I think you're going to have some insights. So now you have to think of some insights because I've already hyped you. Great. Looks like everybody's back. I happened to pop in on Ed's group. Ed, there were some pretty interesting conversations going around the CSR. You want to share some insights that you found?
We looked at 4 clubs. The first club we looked at was City Speech today, and they're doing well today. A year ago, they had more new members, but less educational things at this day last year. And we looked at the end of the year, which was very important, showing that they had a huge number of level 1s and more than they needed in level 3s. It was very good. And we hit the point that they trained 7 of their 7 officers, which is a great thing. Successful clubs have a club success plan. They have a monthly meeting and they train their officers. And now I'll be quiet.
No, that was great. And it's really funny. We keep telling people, and it seems like it's obvious that these are the things you do. And yet, so few clubs actually follow the program. And any club that does is going to be successful. If you've got a club that's got 8 members, then everybody there should get level 5 in a year because you've got nothing but open speech slots in there. And if people are using pathways, doing prepared speeches, and getting quality evaluations, when you get guests, they're going to want to join. But if you've got 8 people sitting in a room and somebody says, oh, nobody wanted to speak, you want to do table topics for the hour, then who's going to want to join a club like that? So it's one of the fake it till you make it things. People should pretend that they're a distinguished club, pretend their president's distinguished, and then as they go through their little pretend motions and pretend to have great speeches and pretend to have evaluations, you can't tell the difference between the real thing and what they're pretending to be. If you pretend to be a president's distinguished club, you will be. Yeah. So who else has something they want to share, some insight they gained looking at the club status report?
So, Dennis,
Yeah.
this is Shalini. We were in the room, Maureen, myself, Sue. I think we were in the room when we were talking about clubs. There were definitely the most important for the club statuses of the two clubs that we looked at is definitely membership, because getting new members has been the issue. But then we did talk about the advice you had for us earlier for one member a month. And the second thing that was from my perspective was that there are clubs where even for the education awards, we do have to push the members, because they finish the speeches, they need to actually make their entry into pathways. That was another thing that we saw could happen. And but the two clubs we looked at, or the three clubs we looked at, were President's Distinguished, but it was the membership, getting the new members at point number 8, that was the issue.
Yes, if you don't onboard the members, as Greg was saying, get them in there. When I bring people into the club, before they sign on the line, I say, the first week you're going to do one of our functionary roles, maybe the timer, and we're going to have somebody there to help you. And you're definitely going to do a table topic. And the third week, guess what? You're going to do your first speech, which is called an icebreaker. And let me tell you how you're going to do it. When you bring people in, you get them excited about the program, and you get them excited about becoming a distinguished Toastmaster. You don't get them excited about getting over a fear of public speaking. You know what you call getting over a fear of public speaking? It's called an icebreaker speech. And anybody who comes in and says, I'm here to get over my fear, if they do 2 speeches, wow, I've figured it all out. I don't need Toastmasters anymore. Why am I in after 17 years? To continually build my public speaking and leadership skills. And that's what we're all here for. All right. I believe we're at time. So let me.
Yes, we are.
Pass it on.
Comments, sir?
All right. So let me just ask the question. Do you guys think we need a break again already? I'm thinking maybe we don't need a break and that we can move on to the next, so we have plenty of time for the division council meeting at the end of this. Okay, I saw one thumbs up is good enough. So let's move right along. I'd like to introduce Jeff Young, who is going to spearhead the next portion of our training session today. Jeff.
All right, thank you very much. And this is just as a public service announcement, or actually it's still a public service announcement. The part of the DECM we're doing today with the workshops is essentially open to anyone who has something to share that can benefit any Toastmasters. So rather than give these, I delegated to some wonderful, amazing volunteers from City Speech this month. And the first volunteer to present on the Moments of Truth is Narendra Patel. And the second set of volunteers is Pravina Raman and Venkat Raman to talk about the Mini Club Success Plan. So let's start with Narendra, talking about the very important Moments of Truth. We look at Narendra. Narendra, do you have the ability to share your slides?
Yes, Jeff, I will do that.
All right, all you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and district dignitaries. This is Narendra Patel. I'm presenting Moment of Truth. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay, let me just do again. Now?
There we go. And Narendra, by the way, is the area director for A35.
Just a minute. Okay. Okay. What is Moment of Truth? Any answer?
That thing we all have to do. Well,
it's an opportunity for some self-evaluation and self-recognition of what's going on in your club.
Absolutely right, Shelley. So as per the definition from Toastmaster International, a moment of truth is an episode where a person comes in a contact with any aspect of the Toastmaster experience and form an impression of a club quality and service. What does that mean? So when anyone comes in a contact with anyone in the any of the Toastmaster member, whether through an email or any advertisement. That time the guest who want to experience the Toastmaster get the first impression. In a nutshell, it is that the first few minutes where a person form an opinion about the Toastmaster, the club, and its members. So it is a tool that enables sustained club quality through guided evaluation and targeted recommendations. We can use moment of truth club quality standard evaluation to concentrate on providing a guest and members a quality of the Toastmaster. So there are 6 critical moments of truth in which clubs have an opportunity to create positive impressions. You can see on my screen. Start with first impression. The first impression are important to club success because guest positive experience and observation determine they will return or become a member. The initial contact with club, whether through a website, email, or personal visit, set a tone for a potential member. The first positive impression encourages member to come back and join as encourages guest and come and join as a member. So what it includes? When guests are greeted warmly and introduced to the officers, they are introduced to the meeting, they are provided a guest name tag so that during the meeting, we don't have to ask guests, oh, what is your name, right? Everyone knows their name so that they feel inclusive in the meeting. We include guests in a table topic session so that they can start learning something and they feel good about themselves when they go to the podium and start talking about something for 1 to 2 minutes. So they feel inclusive. So that gives the first impression whether they will come back or not. Another is the member orientation. When the guest become a member, so first thing we are doing is member orientation. It gives advantage to a new member with an educational and recognition programs and makes member aware of club responsibilities to them and their responsibility to the club. So it's a both way. Member contributing to the club and they are getting benefit from the club. So it's a two-way thing. Both are getting benefited. So it's include a formal induction. You assign a mentor to a new member so that they know that they are not alone in this journey. And they also know they can set their goals and their learning needs are assessed, what they are looking for in the Toastmaster, whether they are coming for public speaking and leadership skills, where they want to improve. Third is fellowship and communication. So the club retains member by providing a fun and supportive environment and encourages enjoyable learning. So if members are enjoying in our meeting, they will come back every week. Because I have seen that sometimes if they are feeling the meeting is monotonous, same thing, why I'm coming here. So we need to make our club a dynamic club so that we have different kind of meeting. Suppose you can make that meeting enjoyable for all the members. And you can regularly schedule a social events, some potluck parties. So at City Speech, at Toastmasters Club, we occasionally do some potluck party or during the open house, or we do a holiday events such as Thanksgiving or and also Christmas event, so that even the member enjoy the meeting. They feel like, okay, they are inclusive, everyone is enjoying the meeting. And then is the program planning and meeting organization. So all the meetings are well carefully planned. All the agenda should be planned out. So we should not do like, oh, we need to plan a meeting on the day of the meeting. It should be well planned in advance so that everyone knows what they are expected to do in the meeting, or all the speech slots should be allocated to all the members, and the roles are filled up before the meeting. So even when the guest comes, they feel, oh, it's organized meeting. So we are not feeling, if we are feeling during the meeting, they say, oh, they are still not ready for the meeting. So they'll not feel the structured meeting and a smooth meeting. So they might feel, oh, this is not a good club for me to join, because everyone comes to see the structure thing, right? Even if there is an agenda filled out properly, they know what is going to come next. So everyone feels that, okay, this is a structured meeting and they are doing very good, so I should join them. And even members enjoy this, the organization. Membership strength. When the club has enough members to provide leadership and filling meeting and committee assignments, this creates a lively and active club that benefit existing members and draw new members. So as in the previous presentation, Dennis explained that 20-member rule, right? Minimum we should have 20 members, so that even though 60% is not attending the meeting, we have 12 members who can take individual roles, and one person is not playing multiple roles. That gives if one person is playing multiple role, then people think, oh, why it's going this way? Why they are not having a member to fill all the roles? So it feels like variations and different filling roles. It looks like it's an active club. Members are participating and they are enjoying. So even the guest will encourage to join the meeting, and it will attract a new members and retains members. It's a sign of a good health of a club. Then achievement recognitions. If the members are motivated, they will always come back to club. They will always stick to the club, because as a human being, our tendency is, even if we are giving a one speech, we are expecting, oh, how this we think how the speech went actually, how I delivered. So if members are appreciated with achievement and recognition, even you can at the club level, you can do level completion achievements. Even you can declare achievement during the meeting. The president can declare any achievements of any member, or if you have a WhatsApp group or email, just send that so that everyone knows what is going, and if members are achieving the goals or anything, they are recognized. So this helps to encourage the continued growth of a club. So these are the 6 moments of truth that I went through. So let me tell you why we do the moment of truth. Oh, sorry. Why we do moment of truth. When we focus on these moments to ensure they are consistently deliver a positive customer experience, which is critical for a long-term success. So the moment of truth is a reflective exercise that helps Toastmasters Club to stay on track, providing an excellent membership experience and achieving their mission of empowering individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. So means even as a club, you might be doing good, but there are some areas that you might need to improve, where you are not doing well. So this this gives you a measure, the standards where you can improve and make your club a better club, so that you attract new members and you contribute to the growth of the club. The insight gate from moment of truth process can be directly linked to the club success plan. So when you evaluate your club based on the moment of truth, you can fill your club success plan, ensuring that the goals and strategies are aligned with the actual need and the experience of the member. Okay. Oh. When to do moment of truth? So ideally, as per the Toastmasters, June to August is the best time to do my moment of truth. If you see here, from May we start, May and June we have a club officer selection, and from June to July we do a club officer handover. July to August is a club officer for the new members and new officers, and July to August to October is area director visit. So if you see the overlapping for the outgoing officer and incoming officer, so we discuss what went well during the last year, and the new officer know what they are expected to do and how they can take the club to a next level. And this helped the moment of truth. As in the previous screen, I said that it will help you to create a club success plan so that you can present it to your area director. Toastmaster International recommends to run a moment to at least once per year. So you can do it from June to August anytime, and evaluate your club, how your club is doing as per the standard given by the Toastmaster International. Your club might be doing good in other areas that are not defined here, but that is good. But as per the Toastmaster International, we need to adhere to some standards so that it will help the club and the district to grow. Let me give a sample how our club is doing Moment of Truth. So I have a Google form. So what we do at our club is at City Speech Toastmasters Club, we have created a Google form, and we have created a Google form, and we send this link before 2 weeks when we are doing actual Moment of Truth in our meeting to all our members to fill out this form on all the questions that are from the Moment of Truth that we got from Toastmaster International. And we rate for each, we give the rating for each questions. So if you see for the first impression, we have list of questions and the ratings. So member can give their rating, what they felt about the club, if we are doing good or not. Each member give their own evaluations. And once they go through all the questions, and when they submit, we capture those in an Excel form, Excel sheet, all the responses. So if you see here, also we have additional if some members have some additional input, they can add here in open field whatever they want. This is not part of the Moment of Truth exercise, but we are taking additional input if someone have any additional input. So let me share what last year we had this responses from our member. So you can see that 23 members have replied. We had, I think, around 30 members, but 23 members replied with that responses. So we captured, I have hide those names. Right now, I don't want to display those names. But if you see the member, most of the people have given higher rating. One person has given lower rating. So majority thinks the club is doing good in this first question. So most of the questions, majority of people are thinking this is good. And before our truth meeting, as a president, I was the president last year. So I went through all the responses and highlighted which we need the attention to. But if the one or two people are saying it's not good, then we are not paying attention. But all majority, we go with the majority, what majority people think. But if you see here, this one, right? Most of the people have given a low rating, or they have not responded also to that question. We discussed this one during the meeting, that our meeting, the people said that discuss accommodation for members with disability. So as a president, I explained that our meeting location is on the first floor, and we have a ramp. So anyone with even a wheelchair, they can come into our meeting room easily. So we don't have any issue with that this accommodation for the disabilities. So this was okay. Sorry. So most of the questions were rated good. But if you see here, when I showed you the last field where it was open for the open-ended field, right? So some people came with the input that, okay, we should train a member for a feedback. Okay, how we are giving the feedback, the quality of the feedback. So this year, starting from this year, we started. No, sorry, last year we started. Last year also we started with giving a member a master class for how to do evaluations. So now we are following this one. Even if you see people say we need a debate session during the table topic, instead of a regular table topic, we should have debate session. So even we consider this one. And this we have hybrid meetings. So people are thinking we should have 360 cameras so that online audience can see our entire room. So that we are working on. So most of the, and this all the points we discussed during our meeting, so that all the members know what we are discussing and what is expected. And if you see here, we have, as per Toastmaster International, right? So it says for each standard that is rated 3 or lower. So we need to discuss that. What is the cause of this challenge and what can be addressed? So the first screen was the responses, how the responses, and then we took that first question. For each question, for each moment of truth, we summarize what is the score, the total score, the summation of all the answers and the number of answers, and then average. If the average fall below 3, then we need to discuss on that action item, what we need to do next. But in our case, we didn't get any below 3 answers rating. So, but for us, it's not like that. Okay, everything is good on the paper, but we have this open field so that member added their input, what they are feeling above the club. So this is working well with our club. You can have a different ideas, but if you like to learn about this, how we did that, I'll share my email address. You can reach out to me or Venkatraman. We'll let you know how we created this Google form and the Google Sheet. Let me go back to our presentation. So benefit of doing moment of truth. It helps prioritizing both the club's overall health and the individual need of its member. Conducting this program will help you sustain a quality club and deliver the best possible member experience. Club that embraces and uses the moment of truth better enable their members to accomplish their goal, which in turn enable the club to accomplish goal for the DCP point. So members are getting benefit from the quality of the club. It helps the member to it lower the attrition rate, and it helps the district to grow. Does your club meet this standard? And as I said, these are the 6 moment of truth, and your club might be doing something better than apart from this, but these are the standard what given by Toastmaster International. So we should try to achieve this in this area. We need to work on this area and improve. And you never get a second chance to make a first impression. This is standard. This is a quote from Toastmaster International. So always try to impress your guest with a warm welcome and adhere to the moment of truth. It will help you to grow your club. That's all. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Narendra, you have about 8 minutes to take questions or comments from people from the audience.
Yes. Let me check the chat if anyone. Any questions? I'm not seeing any.
Does anybody have any direct questions or comments for Narendra?
There were a lot of comments. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
The moment of truth form that you created, right? Is there a particular format that you prepared? Like, can you share the format with other clubs?
Yes, Dinesh.
If you can share the format, right, at least we can customize to our needs, and we can share it to utilize the same to engage our club members.
Yes, that makes complete sense. I'll do that. Let me send my email address in a chat so that you can reach out to me.
And you have a question in the chat saying, when and how often do you recommend you do the moments of truth? And I know you covered that briefly, but you want to talk to that a little bit again?
Yes, as per Toastmaster International, we do once a year. And if your club, if you want to involve more, then you can do it twice also. But once is ideal.
All right, and we have a hand up from Tashaki Ford.
Yes, I mean, it's great. I think, we should all do the moments of truth. My question is, we do the moments of truth. How many action items is doable, and because you're going to have to not just do it one time, but you're going to have be following up. How often should you be following up? How you should make sure throughout the entire year that you're referring back to that moments of truth and whatever action items come from there.
Yeah, as I showed, right, there are multiple input from different people, different members. You as officers, all officers, you need to discuss that which are the critical ones that you can target first. So work on that. If you think that the most challenging ones, right, that is affecting your club's health, that you should target first, and set the priority. Based on the priority, you can work. I know there might be more inputs. You cannot work on everything at a time, but take one at a time and prioritize the challenging one and then work on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not just the president, it's all officers need to work on that, and then involve their club members, and you can form an action team, right, from the club.
I'd like to just add, Narendra, that we do discuss it with all our members in the club, and then we take their input. We also get back to the members if we choose a particular, if something is higher in importance, then we let the members know. So it's always a group team effort when we do and what we do with the moments of truth.
Okay, we have a hand up from Renee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've done moments of truth and didn't have enough time in the meeting. So I really liked Jeffrey's comment of doing a section of it. And I wanted to hear from Jeffrey how you break that up and make it manageable over time.
Short answer is that since there are 6 sections, basically we use a section at the front of the meeting to say, all right, today we're going to discuss how we do member orientation. Is there anything we can change? Currently, this is how we do it. Did this work for the last people we added? And one of the things that came out, for example, was we need a better onboarding member kit. Who has the action item for that?
Okay, thank you.
All right, Dennis, do you have a question, or is that left over from before?
I just wanted to emphasize the comment that I put into chat. MOT is a discussion. It's not a survey that you take. The reason it has to be that way is that I might have a strange opinion. All right. So you got thesis, somebody's got the antithesis, right? The opposite of my opinion. But what you come up with is a synthesis, new idea. So having people express themselves individually is not nearly as effective as bouncing ideas off of each other. So I was a little concerned because it sounded like if only a couple of people say that this is wrong, then we just don't worry about that. Now, it's that one person, that one bit of sand in the oyster that's going to come up with the pearl in a lot of cases. So you really want to have a discussion around these items.
And Dennis, just for that point from City Speech, it was not discarded. We did get back and we did discuss it in that Narendra had mentioned in a meeting, in a club meeting. That particular point was also discussed, and we discussed it with the member. So it is a discussion, to your point, and I fully agree with that.
Thank you, Pravina.
All right, we have time for one last comment or question. And I do want to point out Kate's comment in the chat saying that this should not be just an awareness exercise to check the box. And really, it's designed as a way to be used across the year to kind of motivate and improve how your club does things. All right. Any last comments? Going once, going twice? Thank you very much, Narendra. Please round of applause. And now I'd like to bring on Pravina and Venkat to talk about the mini club success plan. We're looking for Pravina, who is no longer the area director of the year, but she is still a boon companion to me and mine, and is the open house chair for this year.
Thank you, Jeff. Let me see if I can share my screen. I did.
Right.
Okay.
And I want to say Venkat is also the previous Division I director and a mentor of mine as well.
And he'll be here shortly. I tried to share something to the chat. That is my handouts. It went to Leesa for some reason instead of the entire group. So I will reshare that. I want to start my presentation and then I'll share the handouts in the chat. Can I share my screen? Yes, I can. Can you all see my presentation?
Yes, you're not in presentation slideshow mode right now. Though. Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah. You're set. All good.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. We are now switching from Moments of Truth to the Club Success Plan. And there is a link. Club Success Plans, what are they? So today we're going to cover what is the Club Success Plan, what is a Club Success Plan versus what is an MCSP, which is the Mini Club Success Plan, a little bit of a history for the Mini Club Success Plan, the process that will be done by the expert, next steps. Once you have the plan, what you do, and that's what we'll be going. So what is a Club Success Plan? They are just your club goals, together with some tactics and strategy. Are they just pulled out of the air? Okay, this year I want to be President's Distinguished. That means I have to mark out 4 level 4s, 5 level 5s. No, we need to think, we need to know what our club is doing, and we base it on the moments of truth. So the best thing to do is first do your moments of truth before you gear and look at your Club Success Plan form and say, hey, these are just questions I can answer in 15 minutes. No, you give it thought. You discuss it with your members. You see what your members are coming from and say, oh my God, Moments of Truth is just a SWOT analysis. It gives you their club strengths. It gives you areas of improvement. It shows you opportunities and threats. What do you do with those threats? You make them into opportunities and see whether you can transform to a strength through a club goal. That's what they all is all about. And why are you doing this? First, you have an action plan, and then you do this to transform your club. This is just a roadmap, a development plan for your club to go to the next level in this year. CSP, Club Success Plan in-depth versus Mini Club Success Plan. The in-depth Club Success Plan is something that Toastmasters puts out. And they involve a lot more than just goals and tactics. So you can have strategies to discuss and think back to what your team is about. What are your core values? Do you have any protocols for your meeting? How do you interact with each other? Are there behavioral norms? Do you like everybody to come in shorts and t-shirts? Or is there something that you expect from your members and guests who come to your club? What are your obstacles? You do a situation analysis, and that's part of your moments of truth too. And then after discussing and thinking, you do your goals and action plan. Now, what used to happen is that this became so cumbersome for clubs to do. Very few clubs participated and actually had a club success plan. Their club goals. If they had it, they did share it with the district. So to improve that, to have more involvement from the clubs, our district came up with a mini club success plan, which is just goals and tactics that are oriented towards our district. We also have district specific questions in there as well as we include roles such as the Vice President of Pathways, which is not there in the Toastmasters. And then you can do your action plan. It's an easier one to do. It still needs thought. It's not just you go 10 minutes, you tick off. You do have discussions, you do have thought process, but it's easier to fill and have it. And then you can share it with the district. Now, we have had questions. Why can't we just do the Toastmasters Club Success Plan? I love that success plan. And we have other people saying that's too cumbersome. For those of you who love the Club Success Plan, we encourage you to use that as a worksheet to build your strategies. You can use the member progress worksheet, which I'm going to be sharing with you. I'm going to be sharing this Club Success Plan as a handout for you to work and have that worksheet to do your educational goals. This is really great because you look at each member's progress, and here they give you only the first few, like 4 minimum. You do your own and have like 8 of your members doing their level 1s, and you have 15 members doing their level 5s. Do it, chart it at the beginning of the year. In July, it should be done. It's not too late in August. It's never too late, but it's nice to do it in July. And then you also chart, another example is your membership building events. Now, these are just examples. There's much more to that. I'm not going to go through everything here. After that, you build your strategies, you define your club goals and tactics, and then transfer those to your mini club success plan. So you're doing both. You're using what you love, and you're also using what the district has given you, and give some thought and answer the questions that the district has asked you from their perspective. It's not from the Toastmasters perspective. And include your VP pathways in your club success plan and your goals. Complete your MCSP and submit. Voila, it's done. Now, I'm going to turn over the lectern to the expert on MCSP to give us the process and how you do it. And here is Venkat.
Good morning, everybody. Well, it's still morning. MCSP history, I was not involved in the beginnings of MCSP, but I have been involved in the transformation of it. Can you see it? Okay. Okay, I think in 2019, we rolled out the mini club success plan in response to the observations that we made that club success plan was too unwieldy and not many clubs are participating in the program. So, but in 2019, it was a PDF file that you would enter your responses into and submit it to the trio. And it stayed that way for a couple of years. And in 2022, when I was a Division I director, I saw an opportunity to streamline the operations. I took on a Division I pilot project where I transformed the PDF questions into an online Google Sheet, Google form, where all the people in Division I can enter, all the clubs in Division I can participate. In fact, it was mandated because I was the division director, and all the clubs thankfully cooperated, and we went on with the pilot project, and it was successful. I think the trio really liked it because it made their job easier, and it's easy to collect more information and consume it better. With that ratification, last year, you may remember, we rolled it out district-wide. There were some kinks that we discovered, and so this year, the rollout will include some improvements, hopefully. We will again take some input afterwards and see whether we can roll it out even better in 2025. This year, there are some additional questions that we added, and the signature process, which was a sticky point last year, has hopefully been resolved. With that in mind, let's dive into MCSP. There are really blocks of questions in many club success plan, which have to do with executive operations of your clubs, committee meetings, officer training, club quality, moments of truth. So these are all things usually discussed by the officers in conjunction with members and decided for the club as a whole. Education plan, VPE probably will spearhead this one. Path level completion, new member onboarding pathway, all these things that help the educational process. There are questions relating to that. And membership, of course. DCP board, if you took a close look at it, DCP levels points 7 and 8 deal with membership. So you have full recognition of base members, dues renewal, open houses, and membership additions. Public relations, club website, how you attract members to your club, and the newsletter, guest experience, everything. So these are the 4 broad categories in which MCSP can be classified. The 2024 process. The process for this year is very much similar to the last year, but just a little different in key areas. Start with the Google form and answer prompts. I'm not sharing the link here because the Google forms are not completely ready yet. There are some final refinements that need to be done. The form will be announced next week, in the coming week, so it should be available to you at that time. The exact form in which it takes, the announcement takes, I'm not sure yet, either a separate email or in the digest email, something you will all come to know. Submit the form. Receive email confirmation of submission. This is very important because when you submit something, it goes into ether, and you don't know anything about it. That doesn't give you a good feeling. So you get complete confirmation of your submission. This is nothing different from last year. If you have done it last year, you will see that it's the same. This is different this year. It used to be that you were responsible for arranging for your own signatures, digital signatures, or print out and do real wet signature and scan it back in, that kind of cumbersome process. This year, we have set up a district-wide team, MCSP tech team, as we call them, set up digital signature. Once you submit your basic form, the information is there for the district to act on. So what we'll do, we'll see. We will set up your submission for your digital signatures. You don't have to really do very much in the setup process. Then when we set up the thing and then send it out, emails will come to you as club officers as signatories. Signatories respond to the email and sign. And that process is very simple. We'll take some look at some screenshots that will make it very clear. Signed documents are automatically sent to the trio. You don't have to send anything to the trio because the tech team handles it, and it will be made sure that the final submission goes to the trio. The one thing that you have to make sure you do, it's your part, is that a signed document can be downloaded and it has to be entered into the incentive tracker for you to get the district bucks award. That is very important. You make sure you assign one of your club officers as a responsible person. Usually the president, doesn't have to be, but somebody is responsible and they take charge and do this one. Because if you don't do it, even if you submit everything in time, if you don't enter it into incentive tracker in time, you don't get the district buck. The timeline. The initial MCSP submission which is not with signatures, just your content should be done by September 30th. And the team sets up the signature. It takes by October 15th. So October 1st through 15th, the district team works on the signatures to be set up. And then you will get email, and you have until the end of October to sign. Signing is a 2-minute process. You respond to the email. You open the email, click a link, and it brings it up for you, and you say sign. So it's so simple that you have no excuse if you cannot do it by October 31st. And very important, final signed document. When everybody signs it, you need to download that and enter it into an incentive tracking system, also by October 31st. Okay, now we are getting into some screenshots just so you have a warm and fuzzy feeling about what you will be doing. This is how it starts. When you have the link, which will be sending to you next week, when you start it, it's going to look like this. Start. It's a longer form. I'm only showing you the beginning. And then you go through nothing more than just a Google form entry. And if you have done it last year, you'll know. These questions are all very simple. Some of them you have to know the answers because of your strategy planning, but entering them is very simple. And once you submit it, you go through the process of submitting it, you'll get a response like this. Very important here, do not dismiss this page very quickly. If you know that you made a mistake, or if you know that you did not have answers to some of the questions, and so you entered some question marks, something like that, before you submitted, you have a chance to edit your response. You see the link there? If you click on that link, it'll allow you to edit your response. Let's say you didn't know the area director or the email address for the area director. Everything else you knew. So you go ahead and submit the form, but then you find out all the information that you need, and you go back and edit your response and edit it as appropriate, and then submit again. That's all it takes. And that way, you will know you will fix everything within the time frame. You have a lot of time. September 30th is a long way out. So you have plenty of time. Another important reason why you should not dismiss this page quickly, that if you make a mistake in your own email address, there's a typo. The system is trying to send you that email, which you will never get because you made a mistake. So if you look for that email in your inbox, you don't find it for a reasonable amount of time, not in the spam folder, nothing, nowhere. Edit your response from this page. Make sure you entered your email address correctly. Without that, you are dead in the water, kind of. But once you have the email, then you can click this away. The email will look something like this. So this is what you're looking for. So thanks for filling out the plan. Edit response. That link will also work. So this is in your email inbox. So it's there for you to deal with indefinitely. Okay. Now, as a club officer, that's all you have to do by September 30th. And October, first half of October, the district team will set up the signature request based on your entries. So I am showing you what happens when the district team sends your document for signature. Let's say you are the recipient as a signatory. This is the kind of email that you expect to see. Please sign this document. And then, of course, the exact form will be slightly different. This is just a rough thing to let you know. Review and sign, that will be a common theme. So when you do that, when you see that in your inbox, just click on that link. It will go to a page and it will allow you to sign the document. During the process, add a signature. That's when you have to choose between what type of signature you want. a typed signature like what I'm showing you is the best because it doesn't compromise anything about your wet signature. You know, a lot of people may have reservations in terms of having some online system like EverSign or ZotoSign holding on to your wet signature, and you don't feel queasy about it if you do. The name is fine because if you are willing to transmit a PDF document with your name on it, then you are okay to give the same name to anybody in the world because emails are not secure and you are okay with it. So you should be okay with this also. So I would recommend you do this type signature, not draw signature or upload signature, and then you choose your font style that you like. And then click on that sign. This is not it's not facing you. This is the back end. Everything that happens, you can see. The document is created by the district officer, sent to a signatory, sent to another signatory, and keep things like that will happen. So this audit trail proves that we received your thing, we sent it to you, and then if you look at the full audit trail, it will also show you when you opened the document, when you signed it, everything, completion, everything will be there. So this is the final proof that everything was submitted on time when the questions arise. But in order to get incentive tracker credit, you don't have to worry about this one. You do the download of the signed document, which will be available to you as a signatory when the document completes, and then you deal with it at the incentive tracker site. Couple of things that I need to mention here. One of the items, I'm not showing it yet in this presentation, but one of the signatories will be the area director. So the area director, the role of area director is to make sure that your club's officers follow through and make signatures available for the club success plan. So it's up to you. The system is not going to insist on it. It's up to you to make sure you don't sign your signature on anything that you receive until you see that all the club officers that have to be signing have signed it. Yours really should be the last signature. If you sign early, the system will take it, but it's not you will not have fulfilled your duties as area director. That's just a one plus that you need to keep in mind. Now, I think one other thing that I remember from last year is that sometimes there are corporate clubs where the preferred email addresses and preferred way of working will be from within the corporate environment. This Google form, being just a random form on the internet, is not allowed to be used from within the corporation. There is no requirement that you have to use it from within the corporation. You can be outside. For the district, it doesn't matter. In order to make things possible, we recommend that you use an outside environment if necessary to access the form. And also, if a signature request goes to your corporate email ID, and if that will prevent the thing from working, make sure you don't do that. Make sure you use Gmail or some other address for your officer, just for this purpose. On the roster, you may have the corporate addresses, but this is just a hint to you to make sure the process works well. And remember, between October 1st and 15th, the system will not be available to you. No submissions can be made. We'll be working on setting up the signature request. And after that, you will be dealing with the signatures assigning, but there is always the second half of MCSP submission. We can deal with it afterwards. And now back to Pravina.
Thank you, Venkat. So now you have all submitted the MCSP. And of course, what happens? It goes on to the cloud shelf, collecting dust till next year's officers come and say, oh, we need to do MCSP, right? Are you all with me? No. We execute the plan that we have put so much effort into. We execute our goals. For example, a goal could be having more than 4 DCP goals by December 31st. We have to make sure we are on track. We have to make sure we are doing it. Or a membership goal, just examples. We could have a stretch goal as President Distinguished. How great it would be if we could have that stretch goal become a regular goal and then we work on it all the time, but we are actually President Distinguished by December. It could always do that. So what happens? And then, of course, we have our goals of more than 2 OATMs. How wonderful if every member on our club can get an OATM or an LE Triple Crown. Think about that. So what do? We first develop individual success plans to go with our club success plan. We need our members' help to make sure we do our goals, we can meet our goals, and we can transform our club and our members to the next level. We periodically review our MCSP. It does not collect dust. We have to see, are we on track? Oh my God, we are slipping up. Let's redo some of these things. You don't have to give it to the district, but you need to know how you are doing all the time. This is a barometer. This is a tool to help you stay on track. And then if you update it, what do? You share it with your area director. When I was area director last year, one of my club officers, Kate Mills, who's here today, she used to send me a really nice email saying, Pravina, this is how our club is doing. We are doing well in 8 BC points. We have some challenges. This is how we are trying to meet the challenges. These are the upcoming events. This is our strategy and our plan. Guess what? This was so helpful because it changed from the original CSP, and I could do my area director report with this besides visiting their club. So always think of your area director. And as club officers, if you have successes and challenges, what do? You try to go to your area council meeting and share it. And if you post those challenges with your area officers, you can all collectively come up with some points to address and to help you grow. If you don't have area council meetings, then ask your area director, please, can we have an area council meeting? It should always come from the club. It doesn't have to come from area directors. Be the officers and drive it. That's what I would like to empower all our officers to do and our clubs to do. They be the starting point, just like Toastmasters want us to be. And if you think about it, an individual success plan rolls into the mini club success plan, into the area success plan, into the division success plan, into the district success plan. So everybody should have a success plan. If your area and division don't have the success plan, either encourage them to do it or connect directly to your district success plan. And we hope we are going to be able to know what our district success plan is so that we know how we are driving the district, how we are affecting the district, how we are all collectively working from the individual member to make our district a distinguished district. Venkat and I would like to leave you with this thought. It is important to have goals. Without goals, we have nothing to strive for and improve. It was posted on LinkedIn by our friend Peter Dudley, and I thought, that rings a bell. That is so great. And now, I don't know whether we have time for questions. But if you do, thank you.
We have time for a couple of questions. We'd like to give the division directors time to meet with their people, but thank you for a great presentation. And does anyone have any quick questions for Pravina or Venkat? I do see one in the chat. Oh, let us a second ago. Hold on. Where would it go? What if one of the required signatories is on vacation from October 15th to 31st? Can the required signature time frame requirement be adjusted? And that is from Renee.
Can you repeat that? Sorry, Jeff? Oh, you got it? Okay, Venkat's got it.
Yeah, I saw the comment on the chat, and that's an open question, and I'm sure we can arrange something. I'm only the tech chair, so the tech team will implement whatever deadline needs to be accommodated. I think I will talk to the trio and make sure that the person is not penalized for being on vacation. I don't know the full details, but something will be done. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, and Kate wanted to emphasize that the area director visit report, success plans, moments of truth, and DCP are all related to each other. They're kind of the same thing. Any other questions?
I'm going to share I don't think I shared it to everybody, the handouts. I'll do that so that you have those, the district success plan with the worksheet, and then our slides, if you'd like to have that.
Definitely.
Yeah, we're going to be wanting to put your slides into the main deck so that it's part of the main deck for everyone to see.
Okay. And I send it to, who do I send that to?
Dennis Dawson.
All right, will do.
And that's the same for you, Narendra. If you could send your slides to Dennis Dawson so we can include them. Thank you.
All right. I show 11:51. So if there are any last questions for Veena and Venkat, have you put your email address in the chat yet?
It's an ad deck, but here I'll put mine in the chat.
Please feel free to follow up with them if you have further questions. Sally, you want to hand things over to the division directors and any closing remarks you have?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone for coming today. This has been a jam-packed full meeting of fabulous information. I hope that you all like it. Any feedback that you would like to give to me, send me an email. Let me know what you think, how these decks are going. And I'd like to, do you have breakout rooms available for the various divisions?
They are open now.
All right, thank you.
And the breakout rooms are for the division directors to meet with anyone in their division, especially the area director if you want to discuss plans for whatever. And I will hang around till 12:30, so that way you're not punted out here at noon. Thank you everyone for coming. And we will see you next month. And next month is a hybrid meeting. So those of you who do not know, it's the Lafayette Library, it's a Don Todson conference room. And we hope to see more of you there next month.
Thank you.
Jeff, it doesn't look like it wants to open up for the breakout room. This is Cassandra Garabedian.
Cassandra, the rooms are open, but I can move you into one.
Yeah, I know.
You need to be in D?
Yes, please.
Okay, assigning you. That's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate
Anybody
it.
else need to be moved into a breakout room manually?
Division E. I don't know if Carrie's here.
Okay.
She may have left. If not, I might be the only one. In which case,
Well,
I'll take it
there's
off.
nothing wrong. hopping over to another room. And which one do you need to be in? C?
E is in Edward, and there are already 2 people in there. I don't know who they
Okay,
are.
yeah, I see that. Okay, so Henry, sign to E. Here you go.
Thank you.
Tanya, do you need a helping hand?
I forgot that I was signed in twice.
No, Jeff. Sorry.
Okay.
I just looked. There's nobody in F, so I guess I'm
Okay.
just gonna leave. Thanks.
Okay, and yes, I do have stuff to send you. I will get to you soon. I just need to get
Okay.
through
Yeah, I
today.
saw your email. Thank you.
Okay,
I just didn't
cool.
have a chance to reply back to you.
Okay.
And also, I was just trying to save up all the files that share on the chat group.
Yes. Let me save the chat as well. That's a good thing to do.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. If I save the chat, does that save all of the files that being
I do not believe so.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Dennis, I'll send you by email our presentation slides. Would you like it as a PDF or PowerPoint?
No, did you do, if it's a PowerPoint, yeah, just send me the PowerPoint file.
Okay, because you have both.
Dennis, you can handle PowerPoint and convert it.
Yeah,
I might do that next time. I prefer PowerPoint to the Google Slides, and I thought I had to convert it myself.
yeah, the problem, it just doesn't matter. Somebody's got to do it. I would prefer that you not put that burden on me.
Okay, well, that's why I did it myself. But if you were open to that, then I could do it the other way. That's fine.
The only thing when you're converting from PowerPoint has a lot more dazzling animation features. Google has very few.
Right.
You just, if you're just doing a vanilla slide pack anyway, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, mine tend to be vanilla.
Yep.
But I'm interested in doing more exciting slides. I like it like when the different elements pop in one at a time. I think that's a really pretty feature that PowerPoint does, but I don't really know how to do all of them. So I'm looking to learn.
They call that animation.
Thank you.
You can fade it or
You can search for that.
Well,
you can
I've
have
seen the
Pravina do it
button
for
that
you.
says animation. I just haven't played with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I feel really rushed when I'm doing my slides. Like I don't feel I have the time to play with it. But I'm sure I could do that instead of watching the Olympics.
You can have your words dance in. I've done that and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds. Maybe we can get together one day, Pravina, and play with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And I heard, well, your presentation was great. I sent you a note saying that. Well, I sent everyone a note except for Ed. Just saying that if you wanted to write up anything about what you had talked about, that it would be really good information for members. I would try to, like, especially in the newsletter, steer it towards the members rather than towards your ADs and DDs.
Yeah, this was more for the club officers, and I don't think they
Yeah.
have a team. So, but it's recorded, so we can share it with all our club officers, I guess.
Exactly. And we're still in recording mode now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why, did you want to talk dirty? I can turn off the recording.
Sure.
There we go.